There are moments on live television that stop you mid-breath. Not because of what's announced, but because of how everyone around it reacts. And when news began spreading about Ben Shephard's health, something shifted across studios, social media feeds, and living rooms all at once. The kind of shift that doesn't need explaining. You just feel it. Ben Shephard has been one of those presenters who quietly earns your trust over years. Not through grand gestures or manufactured warmth, but through the kind of steady, genuine presence that makes morning television feel less like broadcasting and more like company. He's the person millions of people have started their day with, laughed with, sometimes even cried alongside, without fully realizing it. And so when stories emerged about his response to cancer, and reports began suggesting that response is growing day by day, the emotional weight of that news hit differently than a typical celebrity headline would. It wasn't just concern. It was something closer to collective breathholding. What makes Ben's situation resonate so deeply isn't only about the man himself, though that would be more than enough. It's about what he represents to the people who watch. There's a particular intimacy that builds between morning presenters and their audience. You see them before you've had your coffee, before the day has asked anything of you yet. In that strange, unguarded hour, presenters like Ben become something between familiar and genuinely trusted. So when something threatens that presence, viewers don't just feel worried. They feel the absence before it's even arrived. Reports of Annie's emotional response, the tears, the raw reaction from someone clearly close to Ben, added another layer entirely. Because grief, even anticipatory grief, is almost impossible to watch without being pulled into it. When someone visibly moved by a situation appears in any context connected to a story this significant, viewers don't need commentary to tell them how serious the atmosphere is. The emotion does that work on its own. And audiences watching or reading online felt that immediately. What's worth pausing on, though, is the phrase that keeps surfacing in early reports, that Ben's response to cancer is increasing day by day. In the context of a health journey, there's cautious hope threading through that phrasing. And viewers seem to be holding on to exactly that. The reaction online hasn't been one of pure devastation, though emotion is clearly present in waves. It feels more like something between fierce loyalty, deep concern, and something almost like collective willpower directed toward one person from millions of directions at once. That's not nothing. That's actually remarkable. British television has a long history of understating emotional moments, of composure in the face of something enormous. And yet, the response to Ben's story seems to have broken through that restraint in a very genuine way. People aren't performing concern for a celebrity. This feels personal. It feels like the reaction you have when someone who has been quietly significant in your life is facing something difficult, and you suddenly realize just how significant they always were. There's also something layered in how this story travels. It doesn't stay neatly contained in entertainment news. It moves into conversations about health, about the people we rely on without realizing it, about the vulnerability behind public-facing warmth, about how television, at its best, creates something unexpectedly real between screen and living room. Ben Shephard has built years of that realness. And right now, what audiences seem to be sending back in return is warmth, loyalty, and something that looks a great deal like love, in the quiet, unspoken way British viewers tend to express it. What did you feel when you heard this news? Was it the reports themselves, or something in the reaction around them, that stayed with you longest? Because sometimes the most honest thing about a powerful moment isn't what was said at all. Sometimes it's what nobody could quite put into words.